Hello everyone and welcome back to the offline video series of Geography of Class 6. So today in this video we are going to study about some important points which are related to ocean. In previous video you have studied about how ocean plays an important role in our life, what are the uses of oceanic water and how we are dependent on ocean. Now today in this video we are going to study about some important points related to ocean. So in previous video I told you about oceans, that ocean consists of many small microscopic aquatic animals as well as big whales and fishes as well. Once they die, they accumulate in water and remains over there. All the small and big water bodies like rivers, lakes, etc. finally meets to the ocean flowing through the mountains and hilly areas. When they meet in the ocean, whatever small and big microorganisms, aquatic animals, plants, bacteria are present in that water also mixes with the oceanic water. As we all have studied that volcanic eruption takes place on land, similar volcanic eruptions also takes place into the oceans as well. And when this volcanic eruptions takes place in oceans, at that time it also brings some minerals, salt, gases and ashes with it. When all these minerals and salts come out through the volcanic eruptions in the ocean, it mixes with the water of the ocean and it increases the amount of salt and minerals into the oceanic water. And this is one reason why oceanic water is more salty as compared to the water of river or other water bodies. Further, because of the continuous evaporation of oceanic water, the proportion of salt increases in the oceanic water. And as the proportion of salt increases, it also increases the salinity of water. The salinity of a water is expressed in terms of particles per thousand. So, the average salinity of oceanic water is 35 particles per thousand, while the maximum salinity is of Dead Sea. And the salinity of Dead Sea is 332 particles per thousand. We obtain salt from oceanic water. Salt is a type of important ingredient in our day-to-day diet. We get salt by constructing salt pans at the coastal region. Many minerals like phosphate, sulfate and iodine we get from the oceanic water. So, we can tell that up to some extent we are dependent on oceanic water. Many of us includes fish as our diet. So, we get fishes from lake, rivers, etc. The proportion of fish is more in sea as compared to that in rivers and lakes. Catching marine animals is a kind of one of the most important profession in world. Catching marine animals or fishing is a kind of ancient occupation which is carried out from so far. The main purpose of this occupation is either selling that marine animals for earning, and second is to cook it for day-to-day diet. Many marine animals are used for making fertilizers, pharmaceutical medicines and drugs also. The life of the people from countries which are usually situated at the coastline depends on sea itself. This means that the regions which are near to the ocean or sea does not have a much temperature difference. This is because of mixing of water vapors from the process of evaporation of water into the air. The water vapors which are evaporated from the process of evaporation of these sea water and oceanic water get mixes into the air and the air becomes cool. So there is not much temperature difference throughout the day. These vapors absorbs and stores the heat which is being released from the land, and as it stores the heat which is released from the land, the temperature throughout the day is equable usually in the coastal areas. In your previous classes you might have studied that the equatorial portion of the earth receives perpendicular sun rays and in very high proportion, and the polar region usually receives very less amount of and completely slanting sun rays. So this difference in heating creates an imbalance in the temperature at different parts of the earth. This leads to formation of pressure belts at different parts of the earth, and wind starts blowing because of these pressure belts. These winds are called as planetary winds. This is the diagram of planetary winds and pressure belts on the surface of the earth. As I told you that because of the uneven distribution of sun rays on the surface of the earth, there is a temperature difference at each and every different place on the earth, and because of these, different types of pressure belts are generated on the surface of the earth. Now these are the pressure belts which are generated. The equatorial low pressure belt is present at the equator. After that is the mid latitudinal high pressure belt between 25 to 35 degree in north and south. After that is the subpolar low pressure belt between 55 to 65 degree, and last one is the polar high pressure belts between 80 degree and 90 degree towards north and south. So these are the types of pressure belts which are present on the surface of the earth because of the uneven distribution of temperature at different zones. There are some arrows given in the diagram. Now these arrows are showing you the direction of winds where they blow. Easterlies, westerlies and polar winds are the three types of planetary winds which blow between these pressure belts. Easterlies are the winds which blow from east direction, and westerlies are the winds which blow from west direction, while polar winds are the winds which blow usually in polar region. So easterlies, westerlies and polar winds are the three types of planetary winds which are mentioned in this diagram. These winds blow regularly on the earth from high to low pressure belts throughout the year. These winds cover a large portion of earth, and that is why they are called as planetary winds.